afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming today. This is part of our Mental Health Awareness Month that we participate in. As you know, Mental Health Awareness Day is October 10th, but our CEO, Doug, believes so much in our mental health as a company that he makes it, we celebrate it as a month, or have awareness of a month. So today's session, we're going to learn about rest. So we have our speaker today, our guest speaker today, Khaliah Guillory, and I'm going to give you her bio, her short bio.
The short one.
The short one. The creative mind behind NapBar is certified sleep expert Khaliah O. Guillory. As a previous C-level executive, she knows a thing or two about handling stress and being sleep deprived. NapBar, the first white glove artificial intelligence wellness experience in the world, offers communities and companies on-site and on-suite rest sanctuary to help reduce sleep deprivation and increase productivity. NapBar's mission is to turn sustainable rest into sustainable productivity for not only health-conscious professionals, entrepreneurs, stay-at-home parents, and travelers, but sport venues, airports, and corporations. Khaliah is featured in a plethora of national publications, not limited to Forbes and Essence. She is also a recipient of the prestigious Houston Business Journal's 40 Under 40 Award. Based on her philanthropic work in the community, Houston's Mayor, Sylvester Turner, declared October 29th as Khaliah O. Guillory Day. That's next week.
It is.
Ooh, we have something to celebrate.
We do.
But give it up for our guest speaker.
Can we ask, just for everyone to come a little closer, I'm into energy, and y'all's energy is like vibrant and it's real good. So if you're not eating, if you don't mind, you won't be in the frame or in the camera, just come up. I wanna hang out. Is that cool? I promise. I showered, I smell good. Ty smells good.
Yes, I do.
Thank you all.
Yeah, so today's discussion, our mental health awareness theme this year is make your mind a priority. And so we're really focusing on well-being and wellness for our employees. And today we're focusing on rest, as we have our sleep expert here. So I'm gonna let Khaliah just give a little intro about her experience and what she does.
So hey, dope humans. Hey. Hey. Oh, we can do better than that. Hey, y'all. Hey. So I'm not going to regurgitate that bio. How I got here, a lot of people often ask, like, what in the world were you doing? How are you into sleep? Well, simply put, I've been an avid napper my entire life. I was the kid in kindergarten when the teacher said, go and get your red and blue mat. I got my mat, I was in my spot, and I was out. She didn't have to fight with me. And I just continued to nap all throughout my career. I played D1 basketball in college, so that's really where I learned the art of a power nap. And from there, got into corporate America and took naps in my car and unused conference rooms. I found myself traveling 75% of the time. And so this is before I had status to go into a lounge. And I was taking naps in those blue uncomfortable chairs in the airport. And one day, a friend of mine was carpooling with me into the city. And she said, why do you keep looking at your watch? And I'm like, man, well, I know we're downtime, but it's my nap time and you're in the car. This could be a little weird. She's like, well, just Google naps in Houston. I was like, you got it. All right, that's it. Google, 30 seconds later, no place existed. And I was a little disappointed because I'm like, we're in Houston. It's like the fourth largest city in the country. Well, that night, and so she looked at me after I told her that, and she said, well, why don't you create it? Now, y'all, I was in corporate America, I had this cushy job. Like, who's gonna pay me to take a nap, right? And I always was convinced that I was the only person in the world that was taking naps like that every day as an adult. And she said, you should just create it. And I was like, no way. So that night I was tossing and turning, I couldn't sleep. So in the middle of the night, woke up, went to the office and started doing some research. Like, is this actually a thing? And found that NASA did a study on sleepy humans, airplane pilots and military pilots, and found that a 26-minute nap increased their productivity by up to 34% and their alertness by 54%. I was like, oh boy, oh man, this is why I've been productive in my entire life, is because I've been taking my naps. And everybody been saying I'm lazy and I'm doing all these things. No, I actually was pretty smart because I was taking my naps. So the next day I did what most people did. I went to Facebook, I said, all right, y'all, how many of you out here taking naps on your lunch break? 99.9% of my friends was like, KG, I'm doing it in my car and unused conference rooms. I was like, okay, well, cool. Well, if there was a said place that you could on campus or around the corner on your lunch break, would you go in and take a nap? It was like, absolutely yes. I was like, okay, well, how much would you pay for this place? What else do you want? Aromatherapy? You want a pillow? You want vegan pillow mist? Like, what do you want? And literally, this happened in April 2018. And November of 2018, I retired from corporate America. I was all in, let's go. Went on a sabbatical. April 2019, we did our first beta test in Rice Village for 5 months. And then November 2019, we opened up our doors for business inside the Guillory Mall. And then COVID came.
Fun.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, what did I do? I would have been an essential employee. I came from banking. You know what I mean? Like, oh, what's happening here? And we just continued to pivot. Came up with some really cool technology through Oculus with the virtual reality. We call it MetaSnooze, if anyone's familiar with the metaverse. The play on MetaSnooze is that I curated this technology that really helps you relax and gives you bedtime rituals so you can really get restorative sleep at night. Some of the stuff that we'll talk about later. And, it was been good. The pandemic was bittersweet, but it also allowed people to really appreciate that rest is not a luxury, it's a necessity. And so I'm just very excited to be here and share with you guys today some of the cheat codes that I've come along. And, as a certified sleep expert, I want to share as much as I can and get that out into the world so that rest is really truly a part of our personal ethos.
I love it. A necessity. Remember that word. So let's get into it. So we have some questions. So we know sleep is important, like you said.
It is very important.
Very needed for our mental health. So why do our brains need sleep?
Okay, so can I get nerdy for a second?
Absolutely.
Okay. So what happens when we sleep? The things that we do that day, the memories are downloaded. So when you're sleeping at night, your brain is downloading all the memories that you had that day. And in addition to that, it's also cleaning the toxins in your body. These are the same toxins that have been linked to, and we'll talk about this here in a second, I'm sure, like mental health things, schizophrenia, Alzheimer's disease. But the most important piece is that it repairs our cells. Our cells are the things and the places that we need for our cognitive therapy. It's so that we can remember things. It's so that we can think clearly and have clarity. So if you think about it, if you deprive your body and your brain from these things just from simply resting, you're going to realize that something's off. You're not able to solve problems as quickly as you possibly can. Have you ever been, like you had a bad night of sleep the previous night and you get into the office, you're a little groggy, you're a little moody, and you're looking at your computer and you're like, I've been staring at this same screen for like 40 minutes and I should have already solved whatever this thing is. It's because your brain is telling you, hey bro, hey sis, I'm tired. Let's take a pause, even if it's just go outside to walk around the block for 5 minutes, because vitamin D has also been linked to help with your sleep. So if you do something like that, I promise you'll get a little bit of a recharge and you'll go back to that problem that you're trying to solve. It's like, okay, I see it now, let me go and do it. So that's a part of the reason why sleep is extremely, incredibly important for you to get some incredible sleep so that you can function.
That's amazing. And especially given our business and all what we do, definitely needed for our product.
I mean, when you really also think about it, the additional part of why it's important is the immune boost, right? COVID is still a thing out here. I saw in the news that the cases are rising with COVID and other diseases, right? Upper respiratory infections are now coming on strong. We're about to go into flu season. So whenever you get adequate rest, then you're also giving your immune system a chance to boost so that it can fight off anything that shouldn't be in your body. I mean, it's just a really fascinating thing when you really truly think about it. Anyone struggling with the COVID, 10, 15 pounds, like still trying to get rid of those? Yeah. If we being real, right? Well, it also regulates your metabolism, and it also regulates your health, your healthy weight. So if you are training mean and you are eating clean in the gym and you're like, what is happening? Nothing's happening here. Why are these pounds falling off? You should go and check your rest, because if you're not getting adequate rest at night, that could be the culprit of why you're not seeing the results on the scale or in your clothes.
I'm going to use that excuse with my trainer. I'm not getting enough rest.
You probably are, yeah.
So being that we're focusing on mental health and well-being, how is sleep linked to our mental health specifically?
Oh gosh, sleep is directly linked. We talked about schizophrenia earlier, Alzheimer's disease. It's also been linked to bipolar disease. One of my oldest nephews, he was diagnosed at 14 with ADHD. And one of the biggest things was because he wasn't sleeping enough. He always had insomnia, even when he was a toddler. He was in, for some of you guys probably think it was insomnia. That's if you're consistently for 3 days out the week, you're waking up between 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning and you just can't simply go to sleep. I just heard someone was like, oh God, do I have insomnia? Now listen, you have to consult with your doctor. I'm only here to educate and inform. But chances are it might be insomnia. And so what we did is just got him on a regimen. And now we're starting to see that some of his symptoms that he has with ADHD, this is for kids or adults who are suffering with any type of mental health situation. Just really focus on your rest, like deep breathing. Deep breath is a really thing, So one of the things that I taught him to do is right before bedtime, close your eyes, count up to 10, hold your breath for 10 seconds, go down to 1. All right? Count to 9, hold your breath for 9 seconds, go back down to 1. And by the time he gets to 1, he's a completely different kid. Whatever he had going on in his head is gone. He's relaxed. His shoulders are not up like this anymore. They're down. He's relaxed. So it's, it really, when you really think about it, you can see it in 30 seconds, in 45 seconds, 60 seconds, the results are really focusing on your rest that can really help with your mental health. Depression. I battle with depression, especially if anyone's familiar or heard about seasonal affective disorder. And basically it means that, hey, whenever we don't see enough daytime or daylight, especially when there's daylight, reduced daylight time, we're about to experience this in the next couple of weeks. If you notice, some people with the bah humbug, people are grumpy, they're moody. It's not because they choose to, it's because they are impacted by the lack of sun and the lack of daylight that's outside. So that means that instead of them getting the normal hours that their internal master clock needs so they can function and get proper sleep at night, it's being reduced. And now it's dark outside, it's 5 o'clock, whereas we're used to it being 8 hours or 7 o'clock, 7:30 is when the sun is gonna set. So you're missing these 2 extra hours. So what are you gonna do to make sure that your body still gets that sun? You go outside on your lunch break, walk the block, walk the building, just step outside for a little bit. So there's a couple of things that you can do to really combat that.
Awesome. And majority of our campuses are really nice and have walking space. So definitely utilize that no matter where you are in the world. Okay, so you mentioned bedtime. So I've been to one of your previous events, and I know you have your tips and to establish a better bedtime routine. Mm-hmm. What are those tips, especially for adults? And then I'm gonna hit you with for kids too. Do they work?
Same thing that works for adults, same thing that works for kids. But before I give the tips, I gotta share a little knowledge,
Absolutely.
Right? So here's why this is important, especially in our culture. We're in a culture of, especially in the United States, is a braggadocious culture of team no sleep, or I'll sleep when I'm dead. When I was in corporate America, I would stay up, work through the weekend to get a report or meet a deadline, and I would get an atta girl. And that was cheered, right? We got to reverse engineer our relationship with that, because folks should be able to be off. And if we need to extend the deadline, let's do it. Or let's figure out what was the time management skills that happened in the middle of Monday and Friday of the work week while we couldn't achieve that deadline. Or was this even realistic from the beginning? So really reverse engineering our relationship with rest, especially in corporate America. The other part of that is there's a lot of women in the room. And statistically speaking, this is backed by science, women need more sleep than men. Period. Okay? Like seriously, it's a big old period I put there at the end of that. And what this means is that why do we, as boss babes, we are here working 80 hours a week? And then we go home, we're helping the kids with homework, we're like walking the dog, then we're present for date night, and we're sleeping maybe 4 hours a night, we're waking up groggy, but we think we could do all this and coffee is gonna make up for that. It won't. Sorry to tell you, it just simply won't. The math isn't mathing on that, it just won't happen. And the other piece of that also too is for women, and also specifically BIPOCs, that we have a tendency for higher rates of sleep disorders. So when you couple these two things, we're already putting ourselves at a deficit by not simply getting enough rest. And I know we're going to talk about what that number is. So here are some things that, and I wrote a list down, that way I can give you guys everything. I didn't want to just go off the top of the dome, that you can consider so that you can get this good sleep. All right, you guys ready? Got your pen and pads ready? Okay, number one, turn on your no. Like, turn on your no. No, I can't do that extra meeting this evening because I have an obligation to be home. And maybe the obligation is I'm going to go home and I'm going to take a bath at 7 o'clock when no one's in the house. That's what my sister does. The other no could be like, hey, y'all, I can't do happy hour this weekend, or I can't do happy hour this Thursday because I woke up extra early. Or you don't even have to give it a reason why. It's just a no. The second thing that we can do is upgrade your bed and bedding. Okay, so we spend a third of our lifetime in our bed. Yeah. So, bro, sis, if you flip that mattress more times than you can count on both hands, it's time to upgrade. Okay. Number 3, schedule unplugged sessions. All right. That could be 5 minutes. It could be the first 5 minutes of the day when you open your eyes. Some of you probably looking at me like, how am I going to do that? I saw it. I felt it. So I'll invite you to consider pull up your iPhone and go over and look at your screen time report and tell me if you could find 5-10 minutes in your screen time report. Because that's time that belongs to you. Right. Some of these, I mean, if we're going to go 10 minutes down the rabbit hole on looking at puppies on Instagram, that's my problem. I'm like obsessed with all these puppies. My entire Explore page is full of puppies.
I like pranks.
You know, but I can give myself permission to shut it down and then go over and give myself time to unplug. I'm not saying take a nap, just unplug, detach from the world. Number 4. Purchase a snake, aloe, or ivy plant. So if you suffer with allergies, they can help you clean the air. They're hyperallergenic, so to clean the air and the pollutants in the air whenever you're sleeping. It also helps if you don't suffer from allergies. So sit that thing right on your nightstand. Replace your iPhone with that. Put your plant on the nightstand, and I guarantee you're going to wake up feeling a little bit clearer whenever you're breathing. Number 5. Purchase a weighted blanket. It's like giving yourself a hug in the middle of the night. Who has a weighted blanket? Yeah. What makes it so special?
Yeah, it's like the hug thing.
Yeah. All throughout the night. Okay, number 6. Stick to a routine bedtime and wake schedule. Okay. All right. I already saw some eyes rolling. All right. Let's talk about this for a little second. If you stick to a consistent bedtime and wake schedule, that means that over time, your body won't need an alarm clock to wake up because your master clock will already be set. So if you remember, my grandparents, I always wondered, like, why is it that they wake up at the same time every day without an alarm clock and they go to bed at the same time every day without an alarm clock? Because they had their master clocks set. Their internal master clock was set. The reason why you want to do this, especially with daytime savings coming, is because regardless of what's going on outside with the sun or no sun, your internal master clock will recognize that, hey, it is 9 o'clock. It's time for us to wind down. Let's get this party started, and then we're going to be ready for bed. Number 7. Some of you guys are going to want to throw your shoe at me on this one. The temperature in your house should be between 62 and 69 degrees.
I'm here for it.
I got one person that's here for it. Hear me out. Now, there's always a caveat to this, right? Try on what fits for you. But if you are sweating at night, it's too warm. If you're shivering at night, it's too cold. So figure out what your temperature is. For me in my house, our compromise temperature is 69 degrees. When I'm home alone, it's 65. So try that on for size. Number 8, mood lighting. This is probably one of the best investments that I've ever made. So if you suffer from depression, go to Home Depot, purchase you a blue lamp, a blue bulb that you can replace on your nightstand, your lamp in your bedroom. Because depression, from a cognitive therapy perspective for therapy, blue lights help you ease out of your depression. So if you feel it coming on a little bit, just sit in your room with that blue light on and journal, or meditate, or just be quiet with your thoughts. It will make a world of a difference. If you have inflammation in your body, green lighting also helps with anti-inflammation. So go over to Home Depot when you get off from work today, or Lowe's, or whoever, and grab you a bulb. Number 9, do bedtime yoga. Yes, it is a thing. You just sit in the middle of your bed, go to YouTube, punch in bedtime yoga, and then 5 minutes later, you're gonna be like, I am so relaxed. What happened? You're not doing like downward dogs and things of that nature. It's really, truly just some incredible stretches that'll help you along the way. Number 10, we talked about this, walking outside for 5 minutes to get your vitamin D. It will make a world of a difference. And then the bonus piece is just don't overthink it. Don't be attached to changing your sleep overnight. It just won't happen. It's just being committed to making small little changes. And then one day you'll look up and it's like, oh, I've had great sleep for the past couple of weeks now. Let me keep doing what I was doing because it was working. And it's not cookie cutter. What works for me might not work for Ty. What works for Ty might not work for LaMonica. So some of this is just exploring what it's going to feel like and look like.
So I've known Khaliah for more than a few years now, and I think I have 6 out of the 10 down thus far.
What? what was the first one you started with?
I started with the unplugging at night, and then the mood lighting. I have my blue lamp, my bulb. I love it. And the weighted blanket, that took me some adjustment. I'm not even gonna lie.
But it paid off.
But it paid off, and I'm definitely a 65 degrees in my house. So anybody that comes to visit me, I have ample blankets because it will be cold. But the plant is the newest thing I need to add to my routine. So, and you mentioned that it won't be the same for everybody.
Nope.
So what constitutes enough sleep?
Great question. So if you wake up and you're groggy, you slept too much. It's called sleep inertia. If you wake up refreshed and you're ready to go, you don't have to hit the snooze button or the button on the alarm clock, you're perfect. Now, per the CDC, they say you should get between 7 and 9 hours of sleep. Per KOG, I found that my clients, it varies. My sweet spot is 8 hours. I have a client, her sweet spot is 5.5 hours. Another client, his sweet spot is 11. I'm like, I'm tired of just thinking about you sleeping for 11 hours.
It's a lot.
But that is what works for him. You know what I mean? So you have to do what works for you. And, one of the things that will help with that is adopting to the 10-3-2-1-0 rule. What this means is that 10 hours before you go to bed, you're going to cut off all caffeine. No caffeine at all. 3 hours before bedtime, no food, no alcohol at all.
How many hours?
3.
3?
Mm-hmm. Maybe try ease yourself into it. Ease yourself into it. 2 hours, shut off the work. 1 hour, no more screen time. All screens. TV, phone. Hey, do we really want to get good sleep? We're going to have to try some of this stuff, right? And then 0 is representing the number of times that you hit the snooze. So no times in the morning will you hit the snooze. You're going to wake up and you're going to get out of bed.
That's a hard one. The snooze. And so the last question that we have is, how do you recover from sleep debt? I know I'm probably guilty of that. I know I am busy all the time.
Yes.
And I always be like, I got it. I'm good. I'll sleep on the plane or something. But how do you truly recover?
So you mentioned sleep debt. As a former banker, I just want to let you guys know, I'm here to tell you, there's no such a thing as sleep debt. There's no finance charge, there's no grace period, there's no late fee. It's not gonna happen. Okay? Once you miss your sleep, it is gone. That is it. Okay, so this whole concept of I'm gonna sleep in on the weekends, that's really wreaking havoc of your internal master clock, because now you committed to this bedtime, you're gonna stick to your schedule, wake and go to bed. And then now on the weekend, it's completely all over the place. So now your body's like, well, what is happening here? So the reality of it is you want to stick to that Monday through Sunday. You can sleep in sometimes, but whenever you're starting to feel groggy, you slept too long. So one of the things that you can do is naps. That 5-minute, 10-minute that we're going to find when we go to that screen time report during the week, we're just going to sit in our office and just close our eyes and just relax. Maybe do some breath work. Something else we can do, this has been my favorite piece, is that D&D, do not disturb. Where are my Droid users? Do you guys are so proud about it. I'm very proud of you. No shame. We're inclusive here. I just want to make sure that I'm speaking your language as well. Do you guys have a feature on your phone? Okay, all right. So we all have a feature on our phones, right? It's do not disturb, and there's also one specifically on iPhone, I believe. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. Do you have one that says sleep? Okay, perfect. So then you go in there and you set up your parameters. For me, my bedtime is 10:30. So at 9:45, without fail, I don't have to do anything. My thing says dee dee dee, and that's my alert that my phone's going on D&D. No one's gonna text me. I'm not texting anyone else unless it's like an emergency. Then I'm back. I'm basically unplugging. I'm not doing it anymore because my screen time is over with, right? So that's definitely one thing that we can do. The 10-3-2-1-0 rule, we talked about that just now. That's definitely something that will help you can't get your sleep back, but it'll help you get back on track. And if, let's say you had a bad night of sleep, the next night, just increase your sleep time by 15 minutes. And then if you still feel a little tired and out of it the next day, then increase it another 15, 20 minutes. So you want to increase it with small increments. That way your internal master clock is not going to be completely affected.
Awesome. So no such thing as sleep debt.
No such a thing.
Good.
Sleep journals also work as well. That way you can kind of track, for folks who love journaling, they could just track what their sleep has looked like. And then you can kind of flip through and be like, oh, I got great sleep this week. What did I do? And then just duplicate it.
So now, our lovely audience, do you all have any questions? And we have a microphone.
That in medieval times, or like that we used to sleep in
Yes.
2 sections?
Yes, I sleep like that now.
Okay.
Segmented sleep. Great question.
Repeat the question.
So the question was, back in medieval times when we were hunting for our own food, back then they would break up their sleep. So I also suffer from insomnia. And that's normally whenever I know that my stress level is high. Right now I've got a lot going on, so my stress is high. So I've adopted segmented sleep. And what that means is that, as I shared before, 8 hours is my jam. That's my sweet spot. So I'm in the bed, I'm asleep between 10 and 10:30, but I'm up again around 2. So instead of me fighting it and and looking at the clock like, oh man, now I'm on the countdown. I only have 4 more hours, 5 more hours to sleep. Now I'm playing mental Jedi tricks myself like, no, you don't. You got all the sleep time in the world. And then now I'm like, okay, it's 4 o'clock. So what I do is at 2 o'clock when I wake up, I get up out the bed, I go into a room and I work. I get a snack, I drink some water, I have soft wave music that's in my ear. If you guys Google brainwaves, if you go to Napbar, actually, Napbar HOU on Instagram, we have a curated playlist that will help you get back to sleep. Check that out. They're brainwaves. These are rhythmic beats that they engage the frontal lobe of your brain, and it naturally releases melatonin. So I put that on, jam out to my work for a couple of hours, and then so now it's 4 o'clock. I go back to bed from 4 to 8, wake up refreshed, all is well. I'm not hitting the snooze button. I don't feel like I could sleep another hour. I need more sleep, and then that's that. Now I don't prescribe to segmented sleep every single day. It's only whenever I have insomnia. So for folks who are waking up between 3 and 4 o'clock consistently throughout the week, One thing that I encourage you to do is don't sit there and stare at the clock. Go ahead and get out the bed, go into another room that's quiet, that's dark. The screen might wake you up even more. For me, it doesn't. You just got to figure out what it's going to do for you. But go in and listen to an Audible book or journal. But make sure you got the lights really dim. You don't want the lights to be fully on because that could also wake you up as well. But the key is get out of your bed, because psychologically, if you stay in the bed and you're tossing and you're turning, you keep looking at the clock, then your brain is going to think you're supposed to be up. And you want your brain to know that I'm in the bed. I'm going to stay I'm not staying in the bed. That's why I'm leaving. And when I come back in here, I'm going to go back to sleep. Because what you'll find is if you do those things, it might take an hour, it may take 30 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. When you start to feel sleepy again, then you go back into the bedroom. Because what happened during the pandemic, we started working out of our bedrooms. So the bedroom became our daycare, our lunchroom. I mean, the bedroom was everything. And so now we're having to reverse engineer our brain to understand that, hey, the bedroom is just for sleeping now. It's not for working. It's not for playing school teacher, because the kids are in here also doing their work as well. So that's one of the things that we have to do. And there's a cognitive behavior therapy. It helps with that because it just reverse engineers those negative thoughts attached with those things. And that could be the bedroom as well. Great question. You gonna try it?
Yeah.
Okay.
My husband already does.
Oh, perfect. And he's probably like fully functioning, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Hi, I have a couple of questions. Let me see. Yeah, on the temperature thing, the way you said it made it seem like the temperature range is like a very well defined range for everybody. Is that true? Because that I found that's not true for me. Second thing.
Well, can you repeat the first question for me?
The temperature in the house.
Yes.
You mentioned it sounded as if that's true for everybody. 62 to 69?
No. So nothing is true for everyone, because one thing that I also shared is that it's not cookie cutter. So you have to try it on for size to see what fits for you. But what we found is most people fall between 62 and 69. You might be 60, you might be 73. But you shouldn't shiver or sweat, and that's when you know you're at your sweet spot.
Okay, thanks. The second thing was, do you have any advice or just comment about using white noise? And the third thing is the fact that you mentioned like increase your sleep by 15-minute increments. That sounds like very obsessive counting of minutes for sleeping, and also sounds like over dependence on an alarm clock. So you add 15 minutes. It didn't make sense to me if that's what you're training yourself to do. If you want to comment on that a little bit.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's tackle the second question first before I forget it. Actually, I might have forgotten already. What was the second question? White noise machine. Yes. I recommend them. For some people it works, for some people it doesn't. Whenever I am in the middle of my insomnia, I use my brain waves. Before I had brain waves, I listened to white noise machine. It just depends on what works for you. You know, I think the biggest thing for us to understand is that we have all this information that's science backed, but the reality of it is that there's no one person that can tell you what your sleep pattern is, because there's been a lot of work and studies that have been done, a lot of research that has been done. That's why I said in the beginning, per the CDC, 7 to 9 hours. Per me, I've seen that some of my clients don't require the 7 to 9. It's not cookie cutter, because now what we've uncovered is that your sleep also, it depends on DNA. So if your parents were night owls or early birds, chances are you're going to be one of the two. If your sleep patterns, mental health, your age, your diet, your activity level. There's so many different things that goes into that equation to determine what your sleep cycle and pattern really is. These things are just to inform and educate. Try on what fits for you, and what doesn't fit, throw it out the window, right? It might be one thing that fits, 6 things that might work for you, or it might be 10, but the difference is it's just trying something on to see what's going to work for you specifically, and then talking through it with, if there's still some issues or things that you're curious about in terms of your sleep, then you might want to seek a professional opinion. And when I say professional opinion, I subscribe to holistic natural approaches. So a functional holistic doctor, someone that's not going to put unnecessary chemicals into your body. Did I answer the second question? Yeah. Third question. 15-minute increments, right? So that's a suggestion. So a lot of clients who are, I think the original question was, if you miss sleep, how do you recover from it? So instead of driving or wreaking havoc with your internal clock on the weekends, sleeping in, let's say your normal wake is 7 o'clock, but you're sleeping until 10:30, 11 o'clock, your entire master clock is off. However, if Wednesday you missed your sleep, Thursday you increased by 15 minutes, by the time you get to the weekend, you shouldn't need to sleep in any longer. It's just a way to trick your master clock to getting reset without wreaking havoc on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You sure? I want to make sure.
Yeah, I mean, what I take away from that is adjust your sleeping pattern to get back to normalcy rather than trying to make up for it in one go.
You got it. And if 15 minutes is a good place to start, or if you're waking up still groggy, you slept too long, reduce it down to 10. You might not even need to adjust your sleep time. It just might be, let me check it out to see what happens tomorrow, and then we'll go from there. Great questions.
So I like that you talked about not putting excess chemicals in your body, but I know that there are a lot of holistic things that we can do to help us sleep. Do you have any recommendations?
Absolutely. So listening to those binaural beats, you could go to YouTube, you could go to the IG page on NapBar to get those things. They really truly work because they engage your natural melatonin release in your body. Essential oils work like crazy. Orange is my favorite one to diffuse during the day because it also helps me be calm. So if I'm feeling really, really stressed, if I have a big project going on or anything that's happening that's going to spike up my stress level, I diffuse orange throughout the day so that I can remain calm. Breathing exercises works. That 10 go down to 1, 9 go down to 1. You just try it next time you're feeling flustered or overwhelmed. It works for me, and it works for a lot of my other clients. Magnesium is another thing. I have become a woman of age, and so, the perimenopausal, menopause, that thing is a thing. And it has really, truly helped me get better sleep at night. It's natural. Magnesium is natural. I don't believe in putting anything in my body that wasn't supposed to be in there. Mm-hmm. And it really, truly helps with, so if you're suffering with hot flashes or things of that nature, that will really, truly help get better sleep. Acupuncture. That's another one that I recently tried. Acupuncture has been my best friend because it also helps release the toxins. And I've noticed that my sleep has improved. The quality of my sleep has improved through acupuncture. So those are some of the natural things that I can commit to and share that has worked for me and some of my clients as well. Great questions. Oh, I got you. Okay.
Given your research on sleep, any recommendations on bedding, mattresses, pillows?
Yes. Okay, so let's start with mattresses. This is 2023, in 2019 when I started doing all this research on sleep, I started to research my personal mattress because it was time for me to purchase another mattress. And I found that sometimes what impacts your sleep that you don't even know about is the mattress that you're sleeping on, because they include chemicals and toxins in the mattress. So regardless if you're in your full pajamas and you're sleeping on this mattress, those chemicals and toxins while you're sleeping are oozing through your pores, and we don't even know it. So I have subscribed for myself that I sleep on, as well as the mattresses that we have at NapBar, 100% organic. And they're not made with anything but wool. And so there's no chemicals, there's no dust mites, because dust mites feed and eat on chemicals. So if there's no chemicals in the mattress in there, dust mites can't be there. People on the East Coast love these organic mattresses because they're known for having bed bugs. Bed bugs can exist with the mattress that's organic because there's nothing for them to feed on. In terms of pillows, pillows are extremely important, right? And it's based on how do you sleep. If you are a stomach sleeper, you should have a pillow that will be conducive to sleeping on your stomach. If you're a side sleeper, get you a pillow that's conducive to that. So my best advice would be, don't go into a department store and purchase a pillow. Go to a mattress store, inform the representative, hey, I sleep on my side, I run hot at night, what do you recommend? And they will give you some options that are specifically just for how you sleep.
I have a cooling pillow because I did exactly that.
I gotta bring you everywhere I go. I'm gonna take this show on the road. Did I answer the question in the back? Okay.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions. I want to find out if it's normal for you to be extremely tired but can't sleep.
Yeah, that happens a lot, especially if your stress level is high. Cortisol is a hormone that is fight or flight. So after our mind feels like we done fought a little bit, even without physically fighting, it leaves you tired and you can't sleep. That happens to me often. One of the things that I do to combat that is I sip on chamomile tea at night and journal. So while I'm sitting in my blue-induced light lit room, sip on my chamomile. This is right after I took my bath. Now here's a hack on baths, like an actual bubble bath. Your body temperature, the core temperature will rise when you're taking your bath because it's a warm bath. The moment you get out and you step into a cooler environment and temperature, a signal goes to your brain and says, oh, hey, we're cooling down. It's dark outside. I think we might be ready for sleep. So then it initially starts the production of your melatonin because your body temperature is going on a decline. So you're bringing it up, taking the bath, you're bringing it down, and then you're going to sip on some warm tea that's chamomile infused. It will help you relax and calm you down. And then journaling, I just tell people take 3 minutes, 5 minutes, brain dump in your journal or whatever that is. Because sometimes it's attached to you can't shut your brain off. Try the journaling, bedtime yoga, it might help. But it might, so don't pressure yourself to think it's gonna change tomorrow. Try something tonight, see if it works, figure out what else you can do to help, and always DM me, I can give you some more information.
That's great advice for when you're tired but can't sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you also answered my second question because it was going to be, how do you shut down your brain? I struggle to do that every day. I take my work to sleep. Like, it's a query I've written, and I'm like, oh, maybe I should have written this that way, and I take it back to sleep. Sometimes I actually see myself doing that in a dream. Just can't sit down.
That's normal too.
How to shut down my brain.
Yeah. Some of the things that we spoke about that will definitely help with shutting your brain down. Shut off your work 2 hours before bedtime, no screen time before 1 hour before bedtime, no screen time. And then watch what you're watching on TV at night to wind down. You know, if you're watching something that might be a little hasty or reality TV or whatever it might be, psychologically, you might not feel it or realize it, but it's playing a toll on your psyche. So now your brain is like wired, thinking it might be need to prepare to fight if it's something that's dramatic that you're watching versus something that's really calm and soothing.
So all the tips you gave us works for kids, right? Because I just realized my daughter is having trouble shutting down and sleeping.
Absolutely. And some of the things that we do with our younger clients is we gamify it because they like incentives, right? Is, hey, if you do this 10, 3, 2, 1, 0 rule and you get 3 out of these 6 rules together, you get that right, then you're going to get X, Y, Z. Yeah, so that's just the way, depending on how old they are. So they might be so old, they're like, I don't want that. I want a car. Oh, no, you're not getting a car. Absolutely. Great questions.
Hi there. Thank you. What advice can you provide to someone who has a spouse that insists on sleeping with either the television on or a phone on during the entire night? Is there something from like a subject matter expert, something irrefutable or silver bullet?
You want me to basically, you want to record this conversation and show it to her tonight and say, you got to turn that TV off, girl. Because I'm trying to get to understand, I'm being respectful with the they pronoun because I don't want to assume. So if they are getting quality sleep, the TV might work for them, but it's not working for you.
No, they're not.
Oh, okay.
But they're saying that it'll be better or it would be worse without it.
How do we know?
I guess that's a totally different.
That's a whole other conversation. How long has this been going on?
Married 4 years.
Okay. So 4 years. that you know of. Would they be open to exploring for doing like exploring if what happens if we try a couple of nights a week without the TV? Because I would tell you that going complete cold turkey on the TV situation is probably not going to happen. But if we can compromise, hey, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, let's try to sleep without the TV. We're going to get a sleep journal and we're going to track how we feel. This lady shared with me some tips that we could do before. This is what's great to bed. To bed is a method that I have created and came up with for couples or similar in this situation. So the to bed means that you're going to have meaningful conversations. You're going to talk right before bed. You're going to have open dialogue. You're going to take a bath together, same tub, because it just helps with a different flow of connection. You're going to engage in bedtime yoga, and you're going to dance before you go to bed. So it's just another way of creating some chemistry. Pheromones are going to be going, and it's just another deeper level of connection. So then you go into the bed. It might be that they feel as though that they need the TV, the noise. So maybe the other opportunity could be to get a white noise machine or turn on those brain waves so that they can hear something else. And then try that on for size. And you might be surprised. They might say, you know what, this works. Let's just do this now. And then we're good.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And I'll share my information at the end of this. I'm invested because you got to report back. So now I need to know what happens.
I think we have time for one more question.
I know we have one in the back and then we have one up here.
But Khaliah will be around for a little bit and I'll definitely share her information.
I just reviewed looked it up. The National Sleep Foundation found that 1 in 4 couples sleep in separate rooms. All right.
I didn't want to share that. I don't want that for you.
There's there's the man that snores. She can't sleep with that. And then there's the woman that can't sleep without the TV on, and the guy needs total silence. So I think maybe that's an option. Just sleep in separate rooms. Get up in the morning, go say hi, do whatever you're gonna do, and
so
get your rest. You know.
So here's my take on that. Again, this is just Khaliah O. Guillory's take on it.
1 in 4.
So I did some heavy research on a TV show that maybe not will come out. We'll see. And what we found is that, the number one cause of divorce is not finances, sleep. They're sleeping in separate rooms. And it's the complete opposite of everything that I just shared with my friend here. It's because you no longer have that connection. There's so much that happens at night when you're in the bed with your partner. Some people, you're going through the course of the day, what happened, you're laughing, you're joking, you're doing all these things. But if you start to sleep in separate rooms, then you're just really some roommates at this point now, right? Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I invite my couples to do is let's try everything else before we get to that. I think a lot of couples rush to the end result. I'm just going to sleep over here, you sleep over there because I need my rest. Well, let's try to work through it. Let's try to compromise. Let's try a white noise machine. Let's try a weighted blanket. Let's try, I'm a light sleeper. If I'm already coming to bed when you're asleep and you're snoring already, you wait, let me go to bed first so I can get into my REM sleep. And then you come in and it shouldn't be a problem. Or if you're a heavy snorer, perhaps, just informing, it might be sleep apnea and you need a CPAP. There's a great white noise machine.
What about 2 separate beds? Like, I don't know if you
Like back in the day.
Twin beds.
I don't know if I've had anyone in this decade that are sleeping in the same room in separate beds, but I do know that my grandparents slept like that a while, and then they eventually went into separate rooms. They were over it, but they were married for 60-something years, right? And I think back in the day, that was the norm. It felt like a lot of folks' grandparents slept like that, you know. So I'm on a quest to keep couples together, keep them connected with the Tibet method. And if you want more information on the Tibet method, just go to my website. I'll give you all my information. It's posted there so you can see it.
Well,
I know we have squeeze in one more.
Yes, you were the guest.
I just wanted to know what things could I practice to perfect power napping, like that skill. Because for me, I'm a heavy sleeper, so if I took a nap, it would become a sleep. Like I would just go straight through the night.
Okay, so for the folks in the back, what can she do to the art of power, perfect the art of power napping? Set your alarm clock.
But what if I sleep through the alarm clock? No. Like it's heavy.
You're sleeping that hard?
I'm sleeping that.
So make sure that your room isn't pitch black.
Yeah.
Also set multiple alarms. That could help. How do you wake up in the morning?
I'm already on an internal alarm system. Like I'll go to bed when I'm tired, and I'll wake up when I'm energized.
So for your
napping
part, it should be the same. So okay, here's the trick. The hack is for you. I would say don't sleep past 15-20 minutes should be your sweet spot. Okay. The reason why I say that is because you'll still be in your stage 2 of sleep where you're in a little bit of light sleep, so you haven't gone into REM sleep. So that you're sleeping so heavily, you're gonna miss your alarm clock.
Yeah.
20 minutes or less, that'll be your sweet spot, because that way you'll hear your alarm going in. You'll still wake up feeling rested. Yeah. You just won't enter into the last stage of REM sleep where you're paralyzed, you're dreaming, and you're gonna wake up feeling groggy, and you're like, this was a bad idea. That lady had no idea what she was talking about.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, try it out.
Because I would do naps for an hour, so I guess that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I figured. Yeah, you're sleeping at that point.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh.
I will.
Talk to my teenagers at my house.
What's that? I do. We do. We do family coaching. We do one-on-one. Absolutely. I'm on a quest to ensure that everyone gets restorative sleep. So absolutely. So all that info can be found on the website. That's at napbarnow.com. My Instagram handles, we post on NapBar HOU sleep tips. Also, my personal page, I post sleep tips as well. That's at KOG Speaks. Oh, hey, friend, thank you. And you can follow me across all the social media platforms, same handles across Facebook, LinkedIn, as well as Instagram.
And before I release you all, I invite LaMonica up so it can be heard. To close us out, and I want to be respectful of you all time. For those that still have questions, Khaliah will be here for a little while, so please beeline yourself to her for those that still have questions. And just thank you so much, Khaliah.
Thank you for having me.
So thank you everyone for coming out. We really appreciate your participation in this. When we talk about mental health here at Technique FMC, it is about each of you. And this is just one facet around mental health. So keep that in mind. This has been recorded. It will be shared on our pop page, as well as all of the connections to Khaliah. And Khaliah, just want to thank you again for the opportunity. Everyone have a great day. If you haven't eaten, grab something.
LaMonica, let's take a quick picture before she gets bombarded.